Welcome back, children. See, in the previous class of wave optics, we have discussed about Young's double slit experiment, and at the same time I already told you how to determine the fringe width by making use of Young's double slit experiment. So what was the formula for fringe width? Beta is equal to lambda capital D by 2D. Remember, 2D itself is the distance between the two slits. Then look at the applications of this Young's double slit experiment. See, in the experimental part, I have told you that it is an example which proves that interference can occur with the help of light. The other applications of this Young's double slit experiment is, if you can determine this fringe width by using a micrometer, you can calculate the wavelength of the incident light. Okay, if you want to find out what is the wavelength of the incident light, then you can make this Young's double slit experimental arrangement, calculate the fringe width. If you calculate the fringe width, from fringe width, as we know, capital D and 2D are experimental arrangements. If you know capital D and 2D, you can determine the wavelength. But there is one more application regarding this Young's double slit experiment. So it can also help you in determining the thickness of thin transparent films. Okay, so you want to determine the thickness of the contact lens. It's very transparent and very thin also. So to find its thickness without damaging this transparent films, we can make use of this Young's double slit experimental arrangement. So to understand how we determine the thickness of this transparent films or refractive index of transparent films, so we need to understand a term called as optical path. Okay, so first we will try to understand what is the meaning of this optical path, and after that I'll tell you how do we determine the thickness of thin transparent films, okay, by making use of this YDXC experimental arrangement. Now coming to the optical path, see, to understand this optical path, let us suppose light is travelling a distance small d inside a medium. See, I took a medium, these are the wavelengths, okay, whose thickness is T, and this medium has a refractive index mu with respect to air. So if light travels a distance d in a medium whose refractive index is mu, the equivalent distance in air is given by mu times of d. Again I repeat, what is the meaning of optical path? The equivalent distance travelled by light in air if it travels a distance d inside a medium whose refractive index is mu. So if light travels a distance d inside a medium of refractive index mu, the product of mu into d will give you the equivalent distance in air, and this distance we call it as optical path. Okay, so what is optical path? Equal to mu times of d. So let's see how to derive this relation. So let us suppose light is taking t seconds to travel a distance d inside the medium. Okay, we know what is the speed of light inside the medium given by refractive index is c by v. Can I write speed of light inside the medium as c divided by mu? So the distance d it is traveling inside this material. I'll write distance as velocity into time. Speed is c by mu. Time taken is t. Call this as equation 1. And let us calculate the distance covered by light in air in the same interval of time. So how do we write distance travelled by light in air? Because the speed of light in air is c, in the same time t. Call this as equation 2. Divide the two relations, d by v in air. D is the distance it's travelling inside the medium. Okay, I'll write it as medium. Divided by distance travelled by light in air in the same interval of time. What is this ratio coming out to be? C by mu by c. T and t will anyway get cancelled. It's 1 by mu. Implies, what is the equivalent distance light is travelling in air equal to? Distance covered by light in air is mu times the distance it is travelling in the median. And what do you call this equivalent distance travelled by light in air as optical path? So remember this formula, optical path will be mu times the distance whatever light travels inside the medium. It will give you the equivalent distance light is going to travel in free space or in vacuum. Okay, now let's go back to this Young's double slit experimental arrangement. Okay, we know in Young's double slit experimental arrangement, we take a monochromatic source of light. It is allowed to pass through two slits, S1 and S2. Okay, this is a line which is passing through the center, and here we keep a screen at a distance capital D. What is the distance between the two slits taken as 2D? Now, if you want to determine the thickness of the thin film, a transparent film, we introduce it either in the path of S1 or close to S2. Okay, so place the thin film close to S1 or S2. So, by placing this thin film, okay, I am taking the refractive index of this thin film as mu and its thickness as equal to T. Now, let us see what would happen to the path difference between the two interfering waves at a point P, what change occurs in the new path difference, and how is it going to affect the position of central maxima and so on. So, what did we do? We have taken a thin film whose thickness is T and refractive index is mu, and we have kept it close to S1. Okay, I have kept it in the path of either S1 or S2. So, here in this case I have kept it in the path of S1. Now, look at the new path difference. Light travelling from S will reach the point P, and this is the distance S2 to P. See, previously when we have studied this Young's double slit experiment, hope you remember, we have calculated without this thin film S2P minus S1P. Okay, this distance is at a distance y from the center is 2y small d divided by capital D. This was the previous path difference in Young's double slit experiment without introducing this thin film. Now, let's see what would be the new path difference in the presence of thin film. So, I will write the path difference S2P. Okay, new path difference. Okay, start from here. S2P minus. See, when I am writing the distance from S1 to P, a part of it is replaced by a film whose thickness is T. So, what is the equivalent distance in air? What is the optical path? Just now I told you. If you want to replace this with the equivalent distance in air, is it mu into thickness of the film? See, here I took the thickness of the film as T. So, the equivalent distance will be mu into T. So, what is this total distance from S1 to P? S1 till this one end of the slit film, other end of the film till here. Can I write it as S1P minus T? Okay, I am writing the distance from S1 to P. So, S1 till one end of the film, other end of the film till the point P is S1P minus thickness of the film plus. What is the optical path? Okay, if you want to replace this thickness with optical path, I will write it as mu into T. So, what is the new path difference? S2P minus S1P minus T plus optical path is mu into T. So, find out what is the new path difference equal to S2P minus S1P. Open the bracket, minus of minus, this will become plus T minus mu T. So, I will write it as minus of mu minus 1 into T. See, mu T minus T, I am writing it as mu minus 1 into T. So, this will give me my new path difference. See, by introducing a thin film, path difference has decreased by mu minus 1 into T. Previously, the path difference was only S2P minus S1P. Now, it is something, S2P minus S1 minus mu minus 1 into T. So, if you have introduced a thin film in the path of S1, did the path difference decrease or increase? क्योंकि you have got a negative sign. It has decreased by a value mu minus 1 into t. So now the new part difference, I will write it as, okay, S2p minus S1p is 2y small d divided by capital D minus of mu minus 1 into t. Okay, step 1, we have calculated the new part difference. So what is the change in the part difference? Part difference has decreased by mu minus 1 into t when a thin film is introduced in the path of S1. Now what is the first condition we have done in Young's double slit experiment? We will check case 1. If this part difference is n lambda, the point P is going to be bright. Then you can find out what is the distance of nth bright fringe. So equated case 1, if part difference is equal to n times of lambda. So I will write the new part difference as equal to n lambda 2y small d by capital D minus of mu minus 1 into t should be n lambda. So will y give me the distance of nth bright fringe? So what is the distance of nth bright fringe? Simplify it. Okay, 2y small d by capital D should be n lambda plus mu minus 1 into t. Okay, since we are interested in finding this value of y, okay, find out what is y equal to n times of lambda capital D by 2d plus mu minus 1 into t into capital D divided by 2d. So observe the new formula. The distance of nth bright fringe from the central fringe, okay, this is your central fringe, is given by n times of lambda capital D by 2d plus mu minus 1 into t into capital D by 2d. See, previously we had got only this term. Now did we get an additional term? So what does this additional term imply? Okay, so there is a change in the distance of nth bright fringe. How to get the fringe width? We know fringe width is the distance between two consecutive bright fringes. Okay, between two bright fringes you have a dark fringe, and between two dark fringes you have a bright fringe. So if I put n equal to 1 and n equal to 2, okay, first bright fringe and second bright fringe, we will get the width of dark fringe. So find out what is the width of dark fringe equal to. Put n equal to 1 and n equal to 2 and subtract. 2 times of lambda capital D by 2d, this is no change. Minus 1 times of lambda capital D by 2d and this term. So when you subtract, you will get the same fringe width. Similarly, even for bright fringes, there is no change. So is there any change in the fringe width by introducing a thin film whose thickness is t and refractive index is mu? Okay, your answer is no. There is no change in fringe width. But let us see whether there will be any shift in the fringes. Okay, previously central fringe was formed exactly at this particular point O. Now let us see where is the position of central fringe. Okay, how to get the central fringe? Central bright fringe, n lambda, n should be taken as equal to 0. Okay, so at this point part difference has to become a 0. Okay, you will get the central fringe when part difference becomes 0. So equate the new part difference to 0. What is the distance of the central fringe? Okay, to get the distance of central fringe, I have to put the new part difference as 0. If you put this new part difference as 0, y comes out to be mu minus 1 into small t into capital D divided by 2d. This is the distance of central bright fringe. See, we have got a positive value here. So positive value implies when you introduce a thin film in the path of S1, the central fringe which was previously at the center point O has shifted upward by a distance mu minus 1 into small t into capital D by 2d. So if you put the thin film in the path of S1, the fringe pattern will shift upward. By what distance is it shifting? this is the distance through which it is shifting. Similarly, you can prove that if you introduce this thin film in the path of S2 instead of S1 down, then the whole fringe pattern will move in the downward direction by a distance y equal to mu minus 1 into small t into capital D by 2D. So what change did you observe by introducing thin films in Young's double slit experiment? By introducing a thin film, we are shifting the whole fringe pattern. If you introduce it in S1, fringe pattern will move upward. If you put it in the path of S2, the whole fringe pattern will move in the downward direction. So because of this, we sometimes ask you, what is the shift in the fringes? By introducing a film of thickness mu and refractive index mu and thickness t. So what should be your formula for shift in the fringes? Okay, here I am writing. The fringe pattern shifts by a distance mu minus 1 into t capital D by 2D. Okay, t is the thickness of the film, mu is the refractive index of the medium, of the thin film, capital D is the distance between slits and the screen, and 2D is the distance between the two slits. So if you know the shift, I want to know number of fringes shifted. How to get the number of fringes shifted? Okay, shift divided by fringe width. Okay, each fringe is having a width of lambda capital D by 2D. So how many such fringes have shifted up or shifted down? How will you know it? We know this is the total shift, and we want to calculate the number of fringes shifted. Okay, how to get the number of fringes shifted? Shift divided by beta. Okay, divide this with fringe width. If I divide this with lambda capital D by 2D, okay, shift divided by beta. Okay, will give you the answer as mu minus 1 into t by lambda. Okay, remember these two formulas. One is, what is the path difference by introducing, or what is the change in the path difference by introducing a thin film? See, if you introduce a thin film in the path of S1, path difference decreases by mu minus 1 into t. But if you introduce it in the path of S2, you will get a plus sign here. Okay, you can check out by writing the equation. It will increase by mu minus 1 into t. Okay, since there is a change in the path difference, the position of central maxima is also shifted. How is it shifted? If you introduce it in S1, it is shifted upward. If you introduce it in the path of S2, it will be shifted downward. How much is the shift? Shift is given by the relation mu minus 1 into small t into capital D by 2D. How many such fringes have been shifted? It's given by mu minus 1 into small t by lambda. Now let's come back to our question. Okay, I told you we can determine the thickness of the thin film by using this Young's double slit experiment. Just set up the experiment, introduce your thin film in the path, calculate the shift in the central maxima. Okay, generally when we do this experiment, we will be making use of white light as the source instead of a monochromatic light. So when you use a white light, central spot will be generally white. As I told you, when monochromatic light is replaced by white light, central fringe remains as what? White itself. Other fringes are colored. Okay, that is different. So use white light source. We know central fringe is located as white. So fix your micrometer on this. Introduce the thin film, whose thickness is t and refractive index mu. Okay, we should know the refractive index of the material. Then there will be a shift in this central fringe. Okay, white spot will shift upward. Calculate the new position. Can you determine this distance by using a micrometer? So if you know what is this distance, okay, we have already got what is the shift in the central fringe. If you know the shift, we know formula for shift is mu minus 1 into small t into capital D by 2D. Shift we have calculated, mu we have to determine, mu is already given, capital D we know, 2D also we know. So can you determine the thickness of the thin film? So this is one way in which you can determine the thickness of thin films or thin transparent films by making use of this Young's double slit experiment. So this is one of the important parts in objective pattern, because most of the times they ask you what is the additional path difference by introducing thin film, how many fringes have been shifted, okay, what was the shift produced in the central fringe, whether the shift is upward or downward, So instead of giving one material, sometimes they may give you two materials, mu1 and mu2. Then you write the equation for the new part difference. Okay, you will get mu2 minus mu1 into T as the new part difference. If part difference changes, shift also will keep on changing. So this is a very important part of this particular chapter.